while I'm not what you would call a strong swimmer, I was able to pass the Navy swim test my first time without any problem. But the concept of free diving underneath an island after drinking 2 bottles of rum was probably not a good idea. So my deployment, we're deployed to Guam. And everyone on deployment has to rotate through galley duty. It's supposed to be a 30-day tour through the galley, but because of the way rotations were and the end of deployment, and some people got to leave 2 weeks early, and some people were early outs, were beyond that, and all this other rigmarole, they told us that my group going into the galley duty was going to be there longer than 30 days. I think it's just punishment because they were pissed we were coming back to main body from a sub-deployment to the Philippines, and everyone wanted the Philippines for obvious reasons. It ends up being that we're there for like 82 days in the galley duty, which is supposed to be a 30-day gig. The reason it's a 30-day gig is, only a 30-day gig is, it's a terrible job. The hours are brutal. They're, the hours are from 3:30 in the morning till 8 p.m. Whew. Yeah, you don't really get a break or nap time in between there. So, but then you work 2 days on, 3 days off, 3 days off, 2 days on. Yeah, it's a fucked up rotation schedule. I don't get why they do it that way. But it ends up with, you have half the month off. Because on your work days, you're working 2 days, 2.5 days long. Well, after a month of doing this, you know, your off day, I slept in late, slept till 6 a.m. I mean, shit, that's like sleeping till noon. So we'd get bored then. Well, what do you want to do? Well, let's go PX and buy a bottle of rum. And so we would sit in the barracks and drink a bottle of rum. Well, then it becomes next couple of days, well, we really should buy more than 1 bottle of rum. So let's buy 2 bottles of 151 rum. And then we're like, well, we're bored just playing board games and shit in the barracks. Let's go to the beach. Because it's Guam, so everywhere is a beach. I mean, Guam is one of the most beautiful places I'd ever been in my life. But bring your own mate, because the Guamanian people, 250 pounds short, mustaches, and that's just the women. So we're there, and we decide, well, let's go to the beach. And we walk out the back side of the main, not the main gate, but out the back gate, past Officers Club, go up to the road and make a right. I mean, this is all on military base, because most of Guam is a military base. And it's either Air Force base or Navy base. There's a little civilian people in the middle, that's it. So we walk down this road down to the waters. We're walking there, and there's people, military members, spray painting these big-ass things, and they're wearing, I'm like, why are they wearing full spacesuits spray painting? It's like 100 degrees out today. And, you know, the full thing, air hose, everything. And, they're spray painting camels. Not actual camel things, but they're called camels. They're floating docks that they tie up along the ships before they can build real docks somehow. And they were spray painting them with lead paint. Why would you fucking use lead paint this day and age? Well, because lead paint doesn't rot in the seawater. Oh, okay. I really didn't know shit at this point in my life. I mean, I'm 20-something, as you can tell by the picture. I was very young. So we end up getting down to the water, which I don't know if this is even a real swimming legal beach. The trees are all leaning one direction. It was pretty. And it was water. And as far as we knew, we were authorized to go any fucking place we wanted to go. So there's some little beach, and then the water comes down out to coral, because almost all of Guam is a giant coral head. It's not like a volcanic island. It's just coral. And so the water is only like a couple inches to like knee deep on Most of the time it fluctuates like this, but it goes out, in this area, it went out flat for like 100 yards. And then there would be fingers where it would break off and there'd be water here, and this would be down like 60 feet deep, 40, 60 feet deep from these fingers where the coral was. So we walk out here to the deeper part and snorkel down the vertical walls because there's just a shit ton of fish. I took pictures with a disposable underwater camera, but I mean, the tech 30 years ago sucked. And as you can tell by pictures, it's hard to see anything. Everything looks blue. But let me tell you, these colors on these fish were so vividly bright and beautiful. It was an awesome place. Once we found this thing, we did this regularly. That was our gig. Get a couple bottles of rum, drink them, head down there, and swim. Yes, which is never recommended to swim when you're drunk. Here's my snorkeling lesson. My snorkeling lesson was you put the mask on, put the thing through your mouth, breathe through there, and then put your face in the water. Well, the first rule of swimming is never breathe with your face in the water. So here I'm got the water like this, and I forcibly have to remind myself, breathe through your mouth. Hey, I'm breathing with my face underwater. That's pretty fucking neat. I'm breaking the first primary rule of swimming. And I'm doing that, and there goes a seahorse swimming by. Oh, wow, a seahorse. A bunch of other little fishes, too. That's fucking cool. Look at that. More seahorses. Oh, I got to stand up. I'm dizzy. When we're there, since it's all coral, the coral is sharp-pointed coral like this, almost all of it. It seems like there's a lot of that. So that's why you see we're wearing these beautiful dive booties. And we didn't really have real, normally you put fins on over them then too, but we didn't have fins. We didn't have real good equipment. We had a mask and a snorkel, that's it, fuck it. And some dive booties, and then we stole some gloves from on base, some construction gloves, just because you can't touch any of the coral either. It'll rip the fuck out of your hands. And plus there seems to be fire coral everywhere, which now I'm told it wasn't fire coral we were touching, but small jellyfish. That there were microscopic jellyfish all in the fucking water there's in that area, time of year or whatever. But I digress. We go out there and you can see there's an island there. This island's probably 150 yards, 200 yards from the beach. And it's all coral going out to it. But I mean, it gets deep, like knee deep to waist deep till it gets out to the island. And then the island's there, and there's a hole right in the middle of it. Not in the above water, but below the water. A tunnel that goes down and out the other side. The reason this tunnel happens is as the waves come up, because the beach is so long, or the edge from the finger edge to the beach is flat and long. So a wave comes up, it comes way up and comes all the way back down, and it's a long time for the wave to go back out to sea. So that much pressure, and it hit this sub-island, blocking this barrier island, and it ended up forcing a hole through a weak part in it, and there is a tunnel that would go down and back out the other side. Oh, we got the idea. We should, besides we're swimming in it a little bit, but that quickly becomes very dangerous, we found out, because as the wave comes in, water pressure comes up and pushes you back out, and you're sliding on the fucking coral edge and stuff. But now as this water all goes up to the beach and it all comes back in, well, now you got a whirlpool sucking like trying to swim through a giant toilet, so, and then that's changing every 3 seconds, just about one direction, the other direction, 3 to 10 seconds, and it's never in any rhythmic that made sense to us, because we tried to count it and measure it, because we came up with the idea, hey, I bet you can dive under it and come out the other side. Well, we don't have dive gear. You only got that one breath of air. Well, you don't want to be fighting the water pressure as it's coming up and you're trying to go against it. That's not going, you're going to burn up all your air. So you want to get that free push in and push in, but then that means you got to fight the water out to get the fuck out. And oh, that might be bad, because if you do that and you change your mind, you can't go back either. You're committed. So we determined that the best way was to, or do you want to go when you fight the water in, but then you fight if you change your mind halfway, or fight the water in and get a free ride push out. Or we even looked around from the other side, from the ocean side. Could we do it better that way? We quickly determined that was a no-go. Because while the beach side, the hole was relatively flat and you would go in that way, from the water side, it was on the side of a cave, the side of the thing, 10, 12 feet down. We saw that. So you get shot out. So we decided this is going to suck either way. So one by one, we decided, let's try it. Fuck it. And choom, dove down in, wait for the tide to push a little bit, push down, hold, go. And then we got the thing, if you get down there a little bit and wait a little bit, then you can catch the wave the other way too. You just have to not panic and hold your breath for a minute. If you can hold your breath long enough, you can get a free ride back out the other side. So that's how I was able to get through it, because I'm not a super strong swimmer. I wouldn't be able to fight that current each way. I fought it enough to get down there, and I'm like, wow. I'm thinking, man, this is dark. I could see there's there's bigger fishes. I mean, bigger, I don't know. Adrenaline's kicking. They look like fucking whales, but I'm sure they were only like this big down there. A couple on the side, and it opened up into a cavern that's a little cavern that's maybe like 8, 12 feet around. And then waited a little, there's no air pocket, I looked. And then waited a few seconds, minutes, I don't know, seconds, I guess it'd been, and got to push the other way and fucking swam as hard as I could and got back out and, decided I ain't never doing that again. That was the one time that we did that. It was, wow. It was a hell of a trip. Not recommended to do that drunk, because I get back on base. I'm telling the rest of my people in my department, my real department, not the ones that work at the galley, and because you have to check in there every day also with them, and then checked in, and I'm telling Boudreaux, that was Boudreaux with an X. We had one with an X, one without an X. I don't know. It's a New Orleans thing. And he's then going, yeah, I told him that me, Tex, and his buddy Chad went there and what we did. And he's like, well, you did what? And because he's a certified dive teacher. And he's like, that island and stuff that we dove under was listed as off limits for his divers, because a couple divers have been known to go down there, get stuck in the wash, and it rips their gear off, and they panic and they drowned, and 2 people actually drowned, so it's off limits. And I'm like, oh, well, we weren't diving. We just free dove down. And he couldn't fucking believe it. Blew his mind that we went through and made it out the other end. We're like, yeah, all 3 of us did, and we did it, hammered off our ass. And I'm told that whole island was destroyed by one of the typhoons that came through a few years afterwards. So I guess that probably ain't there no more. But no, well, not like I'd ever go there again. Guam was beautiful. Bring your own mate, because they are not. All right. And with that, puff, puff, pass, no parking on the grass, I'm out of here. Let's go swimming. Guam is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life, but bring your own mate, because the Guamanian people, 250 pounds short, mustaches, and that's just the women. The guys are not much prettier either. Guam was beautiful. Bring your own mate, because they are not.